Welcome to the product demo of Speed Mobile Limited concerning specifically SuperCrunch tool. SuperCrunch tool is a business process automation tool, mainly handling data analytics for lending companies. So for those lending companies that want to process the borrower financial data and the borrower information verification and even validation, they can be able to use SuperCrunch for their processes. This is the login page. It's a web-based tool. So institutions, just so long as you have the login credentials and good internet connectivity, you can be able to log in so long as you have been created as a user. We go straight to the dashboard. Dashboard is purely numbers or statistics of how much has been processed, how many customers have passed have been handled through this system, how many new customers this month, how many today, how many yesterday, how many last week and the previous weeks. You can also be able to see statistics of how many were successfully processed, how many were if there are any that failed, the periods of those particular statements. As we say, this is a data analytic tool which ingests the data of financial statements of borrowers and is able to carry out the data analytics to the granular level in order to have a 360 degrees understanding of the borrower and also be able to harness that data for business development, for cross-selling, and of course, data has a lot of use cases. You can be able to see the number of financial statements that were processed in the last 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, and also in the last 1 month, and even the hourly traffic of those statements that are coming in. Like now for this demo system, you notice that the huge traffic is mainly around 11 and 12 noon of the day. Okay, so we go to all members module, which just is more of a customer details module, which has details of all the customers, their names, their phone numbers, their IDs, and these have been particularly verified through verification tools that we have put in place and APIs also from other particular sources. Something I just need to mention here is that we are also able to do detection of fraudulent financial statements. So if there's any borrower that has manipulated that data in any way, our system is intelligent. We have scientific parameters that can be able to tell a fraudulent statement from a good or genuine statement. We start with mobile money, and here I'm just going to show you through the analyzed statement showing the details of a mobile money of a particular borrower and how that has been ingested by the system through our data analytic tools and self-categorization algorithms that we've put in place to ensure that that data can now be analyzed and presented in a manner that makes sense to the lender or somebody within the credit department that is making a decision whether to lend to this customer or not. Okay, so the source of data is mainly the data that is coming from the financial statement. And of course, the importance of also getting this data directly from the borrower is mainly because of consent. Of course, taking care of the data protection rules and of course, data integrity. So we shall use Paul as a test for this particular demo. So Paul just presented his mobile money statement. The system was able to extract the data from that particular statement and did this analysis that we're presenting. So you can see KYC information, the name, the email address, the phone ID number, the phone number, the duration of that particular financial statement. You can also be able to see how many days from the day that financial statement was generated by the financial institution. We are also able to detect other phone numbers that this individual could be operating. Of most important for most lenders is to see the transactions, the actual turnover debits and credits month on month so that they can see the consistency of the inflows, to see if the income is consistent throughout. Like for this case, you notice March and April was a low period. And I think because this was the time that Corona was first discovered in Kenya, and there was some shock that most businesses had to shut down. And so it can actually be reflected. It's actually being reflected here in the financial statement for this borrower called Paul. You can be able to see where is the source of the monies that came into his mobile money account, and what were the outflows or the leading expenses out of his mobile money account. Agent deposit here means this is an individual who brought cash and actually deposited to a mobile money agent. And so he got the float in terms of M-Pesa in Kenya. And then that money was wired directly to the bank. And so you can be able to trace that trail, and we will be able to see even which bank account and other details. Okay. So we go to agents that this person has transacted with. Importantly is from this financial statement, you can be able to see all the agents that this person has visited, the dates and the time. And that is important because you can now be able to use such data for skip tracing in case of default of the loan. You also want to understand the area of operation of this particular individual. Like when you look at all these agents, you notice a lot of Eldoret, which is one of the towns in Kenya. And so it clearly stipulates that this is somebody who is operating within that particular town. And you can actually narrow down to the name of the agent, the date and the time they were there, the amount of money that they were able to deposit. And so you can be able to generate a pattern out of the transactions that are being done. The count here means that this is an individual who is very close to this particular agent. And so he is able to access these agents very quickly, and he can be able to transact with them. Okay, we go to the persons that this individual has transacted with, how many, all the people that he has received the money from, all the people he has sent money to, the number of times that his transactions where he's receiving money, and the number of transactions where he's sending money. And so you can also be able to tell the name of the phone number, the name, how many times the money was received, and such details. Then you're able to benchmark with other lenders to see how much money has this individual received from other lenders. M-Shwari is one of the leading loan providers, mobile money loan providers in Kenya. KCB M-Pesa, belonging to one of the leading banks. Fuliza is an overdraft service. And so you're able to see how much limit he has qualified. And of course, knowing the limits that other institutions have given this individual, and then you can be able to track the loans that were borrowed. That particular limit, were they able to repay on time, or how many days do they take before repaying the loan? That becomes important in predicting whether this individual will be able to afford the loan that you're giving, and of course, and map out your risks. Pay bill and buy goods are basically merchant payments. So you can be able to track where, like if visits a particular petrol station and fuels, you're able to get how much did he spend in that particular petrol station, what time was it, probably even what type of a car, size of the engine of the car that is driving based on the fuel consumption and other details. You want to see the bank accounts that this individual has operated, how many times has he gotten money, has received money from these accounts, and also the bank accounts that he's sending money to. Like this is a huge amount of money that he has sent over 1 year, and particularly it's mainly KCB Bank, Equity Bank, and by looking at the number of transactions, you notice that this individual must be having accounts in these particular banks. Then we have the MFIs. These are microfinance institutions that this individual has borrowed money from, is blank. Mobile lenders, that means he has not borrowed money from other mobile lenders. You can see SACCOs are the savings and the credit unions. So this is an individual who is sending money in form of savings to this particular institution. And so when you notice that this is an individual who does a lot of savings, it informs you that this is a disciplined person financially, because of course we know savings is the highest form of financial discipline. You're able to see how much is saved, what was the highest, which day, and you're actually able to see all the other breakdown of when was it, how much was it, what is the consistency, and such other details. Then we go to the insurance companies that he's been able to either buy insurance, what was the insurance company, what was the reason for that insurance. You can notice this is a motor vehicle insurance. Which insurance company, what was the highest, when was it, and such other details. Betting and gaming, you want to see if there's an individual who does a lot of bets. And something important also here is from the big data models, we can be able to tell for those particular borrowers who have borrowed money and went ahead to use that money in betting, which is irresponsible. And then, of course, international remittance, if you've received money from abroad into your mobile money wallet, we can be able to track that. The institutions that you're paying your school fees, this can show a reflection of where your children go to school, how much you pay on school fees is a reflection of financial ability, when was it, the frequency, so we can know whether you're struggling financially or not. Fuel stations shows that you are driving a vehicle, which is this particular petrol stations. Actually, from this data, you can generate a pattern of even the frequency of fueling, how much fuel is spent, which shows a disposable income, and also probably even the size of the car. Shopping outlets, how much you spend on shopping is important because it tells us also the disposable income. It can also tell us the places we can find you in cases if you disappear with people's money, or you borrow and you are not able to repay, and you want probably to play games. Yeah. Such high amounts in terms of amounts spent on shopping in one sitting or one go gives us an impression that this is somebody who is not struggling financially. The hotels you visit, how much you spend in meals, how frequently, can also give us the area of operation and also the disposable income. Entertainment in terms of drinks, alcohol, anything that has bar and wines and such. So this tells us also the disposable income. Like you notice this is a quite high amount, of course, in Kenyan shillings. To spend in one sitting, and so this can show this somebody who is not struggling financially. And some of other ways you can be able to tell whether. So the tool using the big data analytics can be able to show that this is not stock, but this is actually entertainment based on even the time. Like if you spend this late at night at 10 p.m., that can show this was purely an entertainment kind of an engagement. Healthcare, how much you spend on hospitals, shows it can show if there's anyone who is sick among your dependents or yourself, you're sick. And also, this can also affect your repayment of loan if this amount is higher than specific percentage, which varies from company to company. Online purchases, showing an individual who has a smartphone, techno-savvy, understands online landscape. Yes, how much you spend in terms of electricity, we can get your meter number, which can literally locate that particular meter. How much you spend is also, this is electricity, Kenya Power Lighting Company. So how much you spend on electricity is a subset of your spending at home, and also an indicator of your financial ability. Home entertainment, water bill, how much, like this is zero, probably is being paid by cash or paid by someone else. And then DSTV, GoTV, Zuku, this is home internet and home entertainment in terms of the channels. And so it can show, like the lowest amount is ever paid is 10,000. This is a very good package, probably a DSTV package, which is quite premium. And so that shows affordability and access to money in terms of affording home entertainment. Other aspects like religion, where you go for beauty or shaving or barbershop or salon, can give us an indication also in terms of whether you're struggling financially or not. So that's just an indication in terms of mobile money statement. Of course, that data is now channeled through our algorithms and big data tools that will be able to generate a score for mobile loans, which is unsecured loans, and a score for long-term loans, usually collateralized and long-term in nature. And also it gives us how much this individual can afford in terms of a loan. And again, a matrix, a risk matrix of what profile this particular individual has in terms of risk and ability to repay the loan. So all these are important for quick loan appraisals and decision making in terms of whether to lend this individual or not. But as we saw from the data, this data also gives us an indication in terms of your ability to repay the loan. How much money do you have as disposable? This data also gives us details about where can we get you if you default the loan. So debt collection, literally we can track the movements based on those transactions, which are helpful in collection process. And at the same time, you can be able to see that, like this is individual, you can sell insurance as cross-selling. You can notice when was the last time he bought insurance, and so most of the insurance are annual. Anniversary in nature is annual. So most of them you can be able to approach them to buy the insurance from you. But you can also be able to use this information to plan. Like you can notice this is an individual who will be paying school fees in August when the schools reopen, or in January when the schools reopen. And so it's an opportunity also to sell loans, school fees loans to such an individual. Fuel gives us an indication of that this is an individual who owns a vehicle. Yeah, and so he can purchase insurance, he can purchase motor vehicle parts, and so a lot of this data is helping the financial institutions to now see other opportunities that they can leverage in selling, cross-selling to such an individual. So it goes beyond loans, but also that is the most important part. It's very critical, credit scoring and determining whether this is a good borrower or not. But beyond that, it can also help in such other details. We also are able to analyze bank statements. Yeah. So I will also be able to use a few bank statements, one bank statement here to just showcase that very quickly. So like you can be able to, you get a bank statement, you can see all the money that are flowing in and the money that are flowing out. You can be able to see total salaries that are passed through these accounts, total money that have also passed through these accounts. You can see how much is the total inflows, total outflows, where did this money come from? Is it cash deposit into the account, check deposit into the account? Is it loans? Is it interbank? Is it mobile money? Like you notice, for this particular individual, mobile money is 7.5%. But in terms of outflows, money moving out of the account, you can quickly also be able to see where is this money going, okay? So intrabank is 14%. Mobile money is quite strong, and it's quite strong in Kenya. It cuts actually across. Most people are having mobile banking and moving their money directly to the mobile wallets. So you're able to see the turnover, month in, month out. That has been also plotted out in form of a graph. And now the details that you want to see in this particular case. Now, even for the outflows, you also want to see the graph in terms of outflows that are moving out and where is the money going in terms of the payments that were done, also including the fees that were charged. So it's a very detailed analytic connecting the dots in order to make sense of this particular statement. Then we also do the same for tills and pay bills. I will use this particular statement for that, to show that. So you can be able to see the net money that has come in, the all income that has come in over the period of 4 months, what is the net income that passed through that account, and how much this institution can actually be able to afford to repay, and also opening balances, closing balances, the debits and the credits, and the closing balance in terms of each and every month. And so this is also very important. Now, there are several reports that you can generate out of this. You can generate reports specifically on monthly summary, a category for banks, category for tills, category for mobile money statements. You can generate a report specifically for M-Pesa statements, detailing out other opportunities that can be sold to other opportunities that you can leverage on the data in order to reach out to these customers.